Good evening. We are live from the International Stock Trading Room. What we're looking at right now is the ES, also known as the S&P 500 future, the most traded future commodity in the world. And we're looking at, this is kind of a bird's eye view. I'm going to zoom in to what we've been doing overnight. As you can see, big swings from the up and down side, these massive volume bars which really do not exist during this time. This is usually the overnight markets. New Zealand, Australia have already opened up. The Asian markets are just opening up right now, and the reason is because of election night. I want to do this video for two reasons. One, to show the importance of the volatility that events bring to financial markets, especially the overnight markets. Some of these big firms, they will have crews work 24 hours during this time because of the amount of money they can make from these big swings, people taking their positions. And two, to show you where we've come. Some of you might remember I did put together a PowerPoint back in the end of April, beginning of May, just to kind of show you as far as what I believed would have been the recovery from then. And it still shows rates at zero back then. As you can see, the market, at least the financial markets, are actually in the green on the year as we stand. Now we have seen lately, and it's mainly because of unsure. I don't want to dwell too much into financial markets or the politics that is behind it, and that is they don't like uncertainty. Financial markets, not knowing who the president is going to be, is going to create this sideways action. The fact that the markets have jumped up the last couple of days is not any significance. You can tell it bounced off the range here in the bottom. You can see a clear line in the sand there going back to even February and January. Clearly bounced off of that. It is in a range until we find out who the president is going to be, who's going to control the Senate. So at least they know what posturing they need to take. Doesn't matter who's going to be in. They want to know how to position their investments to be ready who is in there. It really doesn't matter. The financial markets have grown in Democratic and Republican run offices. I'm going to go back on some of the plays that I did. This is a little email I sent out to people back at the beginning of March, beginning of April, about how you should buy the indices, most importantly Diamond, S&P, NASDAQ, and certain sectors like the airlines, Delta, ETF, JETS, Boeing, hotels, ETFs, ETFs on the energy sector. You can look into all of those. Those are all up at least 50% since that call. I did miss some of the bigger gainers, which were the at-home stocks, like your Zoom, or a lot of these the FANG stocks took off as well, along as with many others. But at the end of the day, they're very safe, wholesome, economical investments that can still make you a lot of money in the future. I did trade off my oil assets, and that's because I do believe oil is not going to truly rebound until we see a global rebound. Even though everyone's on the road here in the US, the recoveries, they're not even close to getting started on an international level. My personal experience, a little over a month ago, I went to Disney. My hotel was 95% occupied. They built a hotel here in downtown. It's at 80% occupied. Marriott, brand new hotel. I talked to some of my colleagues in Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, Michigan, Colorado. Some of these states are still pretty heavily locked down. I tell them about how wide open we are where I'm at, and they can't. It's unheard of. They can never imagine that recovery is already taking place in parts of the U.S. I think that will all change after tonight, regardless of who wins. So most importantly, you've seen my predictions, and the theme is this theme is this theme. Do not fight the Fed. Fed rates low. And look at this. This is when it went drop. This is a screenshot of this back beginning of the year, end of March, beginning of April. How all the funds went into the dollars. They did go back frequently here and there, but most part it's been going into equities. It's been going into equities. That's just a little reminder. A little tidbit into the commercial funding that has opened up tremendously lately. Right now, the only limitations I've seen on the lending side have been strictly hospitality and aviation. They're still skeptical on that. And obviously, this bodes back then as it does today. We're a very persistent, persevering country, and we have, for the most part, some of the states have already gone through the COVID mess, and some still have ways to go. But either